What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. Ever since the release of Black Ops 6, there has been something off about this game, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Couldn't quite figure out what the issue was. But then finally I figured it out. I saw a post on Reddit that talked about Black Ops 6 being uninspiring. And that resonated with me so much. A lot of what this game offers is uninspiring. Now, this isn't necessarily pertaining to the campaign or even the zombies. I actually quite like the campaign and the zombies. This is more so to do with the multiplayer, the PvP aspect of Call of Duty right now. It is extremely uninspiring. From map designs to character designs to the way the gameplay feels, looks, and reacts, all of it is uninspiring. And I think a lot of it comes back to the fact that everything we're seeing right now here in 2024 was done better in previous iterations of Call of Duty. And you can argue the same for zombies and campaign, but regardless, those at least seem to have a direction. They seem to have identity, character. Not when it comes to Warzone and multiplayer though. Both of these modes seem to just be there to make as much revenue as possible, and who cares about anything else? The experience feels empty, it feels shallow, it feels hollow, if we're being completely honest. And I think more and more people are realizing this. They're waking up to it, that the multiplayer and Warzone aren't so much vehicles for our entertainment, they're vehicles for Activision's revenue, and they've recognized that. And they're trying to churn out as much revenue as possible at the expense of the overall experience. And this is why the map design in Black Ops 6 is as bland, boring, and terrible as it is. Because we're not thinking about experience, we're thinking about revenue. We're not going to put a lot of time and effort into these maps because people are going to play them regardless. Whatever Black Ops 6 has to offer, people are going to play. But what I'm seeing a lot more of, especially with Black Ops 6, is people saying, that's it, you know what, I'm out. I'm out on multiplayer. I'm out on Warzone. I'm going to dabble here and there, but I'm not committing large lumps of my time to it. And why would you? The multiplayer is bad. The servers suck, and I think we can all agree on that. The hit detection is extremely inconsistent as a result. And there's more bugs than we can count, and every single time they try to update the game, they break something else because they don't care about polish. They don't care about committing to a certain standard. They just care about pushing it out. They just care about getting a patch out there so they can seem like they're doing something. And for some people who've been around ever since Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4, you guys know and remember, updates were scarce during that time. But even though those updates were scarce, when they did come out, they didn't fundamentally break the game. They didn't ruin the overall experience. The game played fine. And it feels like they're always overcorrecting small errors and then in turn creating larger ones. How many times did the servers go down yesterday? 3 or 4, all because of an update, all because nobody at Activision has the care to do the bare minimum for this community. And this is the worst part, is when those servers were down, when the game was inaccessible for however short of time it was. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. The game that you've purchased for $70 or access it to via Game Pass is completely inaccessible to you because everything about this game is online for some godforsaken reason. It would be great if the campaign was playable offline. If private matches were playable offline, if zombies was playable offline, but that's not the case. Everything revolving around Black Ops 6 is always online because they have to gather as much data from you as possible so they can kind of fudge the numbers when it comes to player retention. At least that's what I think it's for. Other than that, I really don't know why they've made this decision. It has not been for the benefit of the game. It's to the detriment. How often do you get packet bursts when playing zombies? And that's one of the beautiful things about going back and playing zombies on Black Ops 1. I don't need to have my Xbox plugged into the internet. I can still play Black Ops 1 zombies without it. It's great. It's fantastic. But Black Ops 6 is going to be forgotten about if we ever experience any issues with internet connection. It's going to be a game that just collects dust if you bought it digitally or physically. There's no point to it because you can't play it offline. Heaven forbid you're in an area that doesn't have consistent internet connection. You've just purchased something that's useless, worthless, and I just don't really understand that decision. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to discuss why this game has moved away from content that felt inspired, felt like the developers were inspired to make it. What about Black Ops 6 is inspiring? What tells you that the developers were doing more than the bare minimum when they were making it? The maps here don't feel like they were very well thought out. It doesn't feel like they were putting a lot of effort into the game when they were making them. And that's why we have such bland and boring experiences. That's why Extraction and Heirloom lack any type of character to them whatsoever. Like I said about Heirloom, it looks like it was booted up in MS Paint. It's a joke. But that's what Call of Duty's become. Put in as little effort as possible for maximum result. And this is the issue that we do as a community, is we incentivize it. Because as bad as the maps are, as bad as the whole experience is, there's still thousands of people running around with that dragon skin. There's thousands of people running around with the black cell skins because they're totally fine throwing money at this game. And I understand you can spend your money on what you want, but Activision needs to stop taking advantage of that goodwill because it is running thin. They expect players to continuously spend money nonstop. But how long is that going to happen? How long until more players just say the experience that we have is so poor that I'm not spending money anymore? At what point will Activision wake up and realize? And this is why I always say, if you're somebody who complains about the problems that Call of Duty has, stop spending money on the game. Because once you start incentivizing them to have a worse game, they're going to continue to deteriorate that overall experience with the money that you're investing in them with. And it kind of becomes this situation where you're just going against your best interest, which is what this community is really, really good at. They love going against their best interest. They love propping up Activision's bottom line, even though the standard hasn't been met. And that's the issue with Black Ops 6. The standard isn't there. There is nothing about this game that feels like there's a connection to it. Like with old multiplayer games, there was a connection between player and game. And I feel as if that is just completely missing here. I have it with zombies. I have 100% a drive and passion to play that. I don't have that same feeling when it comes to multiplayer because everything they've put forth so far doesn't work. It doesn't play well. It doesn't look right. It doesn't adhere to the Call of Duty experience that we've come to know. And unfortunately, this has been pretty consistent over the last couple years. Although I will say MW3 at least had some level of inspiration when it came to their map design. It was very clear they tried to do something different with their map design. Here with Black Ops 6, it feels a lot like it was just ripped out of Warzone. And that's just unacceptable. It's as simple as that the maps feel boring. They feel lifeless as a result. And that blends into the entire gameplay as a whole. The operators themselves are bland and boring, uninspiring. If I'm going to give credit, if I'm going to give any type of positive feedback here, it's that the weapon camos that you can just earn in this game that you don't have to buy are the most inspiring aspect of the multiplayer right now. The weapon grind seems to be the only enjoyable thing that this game has going for it, because some of the camos are actually pretty cool, and the grind itself is rewarding. Shocking that that is what most players are flocking to, rewarding experiences. Almost if they could implement more of that, they'd get a better game overall. But that's really all I have to say on this topic. As I play more Black Ops 6, I realize just how empty the entire game feels in place. And that is because of a decision that Activision has made with their developers to put less effort into the games, to add less character, implement less inspiring content. And it really shows. But those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear from you down below in that comment section. Let me know how you feel in regards to Black Ops 6 and its content. Would love to hear more from you down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.